Namaste, good evening or morning, whenever you're doing this video. So we're just going to start, our usual for this series, having a little chat to begin with. So you can be in any comfortable position that you like for that. I've got my two blocks stacked up, one on top of the other, a long way. So when I sit my butt cheeks down on that, one on each side, there's plenty of room for my butt. You could have a folded blanket just ready behind that setup as well. So you can sit on your blocks to start with in Virasana. That is where we take our feet on either side. It's not the best look, on either side of those blocks and sit back down. Or you can just have your own comfortable seat until we are ready for that. But I'm just going to be ready in this position. So, and just give you your little chat on our chakra. I'm going to bring this so I can see my peeps in front of me and look at this in the same direction. That's nice. So this is week 5. So week 5 means we're at the 5th chakra. So that's nice and easy. So we've gone from Manipura down at the base into Svadhisthana in front of the sacrum, into our solar plexus of Manipura and self-power. Last week we were at the heart chakra and Anahata, and this week we come up into Visudha. I don't know why I'm getting this wrong at the moment, but in my head I thought it was Vishuddhi, and it's Visudha and Vishuddhara, but either or. But now I'm confused about Vishuddhi. I don't know where I got that from in my head, but it's Visudha, the throat chakra. So we arrive now here at the 5th chakra in the throat. And we're really beginning to step now into the first of the 3 higher, more spiritual chakras. So as we arrive here, we are arriving really, Vishuddha means actually translate into purification. So as we arrive into these higher realms, these more subtle spiritual realms of our life and of life through the chakras, we're coming to a place where we really need to be getting a certain amount of purification through our thoughts, through our practices, and through our own expressions, like coming from a place of integrity and truth. So this chakra is really about expressing our deepest truth, whatever that is, and living in alignment and integrity with those truths. So here in Vishuddha, we really want to know what our values are and really be looking at living in alignment with those values. It is physically the throat and the larynx, but it also covers the mouth of which the sound comes out. We are coming into the element of sound, and traditionally this is said to be the element of space. But they're the 5 elements. We've already gone earth, water, fire, air, space. So that's the last 3 chakras. But with the teacher that I like to follow, she's broken that down a little bit more and says that we are in the element of sound, which makes a lot of sense to me, because to express ourselves through our throat chakra, through our truth, we do it often through sound. So it incorporates our mouth, our tongue, and also our ears. Now, sound travels through space, so there's that interconnectedness, and our ability to hear sound is also important, because it's a part of the communication that we have with life. So therefore, it's also covering our means of communication. And though it can be just communicating, it's said to be the chakra of communication, the truth is it's a little deeper than that. We're getting into the spiritual realm. So it's not just rattling off, chit-chatting, and about being able to talk a lot, because if you actually talk a lot, no, but if you talk a lot and you're really loud and you don't know how to stop and listen and you just blah, 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 it's quite likely that, well, it's very likely you have an imbalance in that chakra, that it's an excessiveness of that chakra. And equally, if you talk a little low and you don't really like to say, and oh, boo, don't listen to me, that's also a deficiency in that chakra. So we're really trying to find that balance of being able to express ourselves truthfully, honestly, but also to be able to listen equally well. This listening process is part of that chakra. Also, it's governing the thyroid and the parathyroid. So when it comes to the thyroid glands, it is a little about living in the circadian rhythms of life. And as we come into the vibration or element of sound, it is a vibrational form. So it's where we start coming into resonance, as we start finding our balance through the vibrational tone of our body. And in that way, when we're talking about coming into resonance with others and with nature, we need to have this connection with that bigger rhythm of life, and to be able to flow in rhythm with the bigger cycle of life in order to be balanced here. So it is the world of self-expression with truth, of telling the truth, of, you know, a violation to this chakra is lying, of being lied to, and of lying to others, of hearing lying. And its enemy is sort of like dogma. And so trying not to get too political here, but, you know, governments and religions don't like you questioning things, but this chakra is part of the path, is to question and to really, you know, ask, is that my truth? Is that right for me? And I don't really agree with that. And to have that honest conversation. This chakra collectively is completely out of whack. Okay, so it is also the ultimate way of expressing of creativity. So it is the chakra of the arts, of music, of writing, of musing, of singing, of chanting, and all of those things that we can do with our throat. So with that in mind, we're going to do some breathing with our throat. So I think I'm frozen here, so I can't see what's going on with you guys. I presume, Robin, you're not drinking anymore, but that's okay. Join us when you're ready if you are. We want this little jutting out of the chin so we can begin to tuck it in. So it's a little pointing out and then tucking it under as if we've got hold of a ball in between our chin and our throat or chest. And as we tuck the chin in a little bit, this is going to help us to activate the Ujjayi breath, which is that partial closing of the epiglottis. It's where you begin to hear yourself breathe audibly through a light snore, or like a suppressed sigh, or like some people say, the sound of Darth Vader. Don't over effort this, just see what naturally comes. If you've never done it before, or you're just going to imagine that you're breathing directly through a hole in your throat as if you're breathing through a tracheotomy. In and out. And if you have trouble with that, if you really have never done this before, you can just try inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, with that suppressing the breath, with that slightly holding it back, as if you're suppressing a sigh or fogging up your glasses to clean them. And I want you to just find a steady rhythm with this, if you need to work on it, that's okay. If it really is your first time, you might get a little dizzy or dry in the throat or sore in the throat. Please just let it go, let everything settle, and come back to the practice as you're ready. Otherwise, just a slight tuck of the chin, a nice lift and lengthen from the base, which is your sit bones pressing into the blocks, and lengthening all the way up. I would recommend actually that you draw your thighs together, so the inner edges of your thighs are touching each other. So Heather, can you, maybe you're doing it, and because my internet is unstable, you're freezing and various things.
I think I've got
Eyes can be closed. Don't worry about it, Heather. Oh, you're both on. Right. Can you pop yourselves on mute? Or maybe I can mute you. I can mute you. That's okay. I've got you. All right. Sorry about that. I'm going to bring our hands into interlace. Tuck the hands under the chin and draw the elbows towards each other. I'll just change my camera work here so you can see a little bit better. We're going to inhale, open the elbows wide as we lift the chin and begin to extend the arms all the way up. That's the inhalation. And as we exhale, we bend the elbows, drawing the interlace back of the fingers back in under the throats, and continue until the elbows are back towards each other. And then inhale. Elbows wide and hands reach skyward. And exhale as you draw the hands back down and then tuck the elbows back in. Inhale. And exhale. Perhaps you can find that little pause in between. If you can't, just continue to flow easily and evenly. Inhaling, opening the elbows, and as you reach the arms overhead, really begin to draw that lower navel in towards the spine. And exhale, drawing the hands back in under. One more round. Hold there as you get to the peak. And as you exhale, begin to tuck the chin under as you bring the back of the hands to the back of your head. And then inhale, lifting the chin up, elbows wide. And then as you exhale, drawing the chin in, hands pressing into the head as the elbows align with the shoulders, stretching the back of the neck. And then inhale, press the back of the head into the hands. Let the elbows come wide as you begin to look up towards the sky, belly drawing in strongly in support. And as you exhale, hands press into the head, elbows line up the shoulders and pull down, tucking the chin in. We're not rounding through the spine, just the back of the neck. Inhale, rising, lifting, looking up, opening the elbows. And as you exhale, beginning to tuck those elbows in, press the hands into the head and just looking down in your lap, holding here now. Take an inhale as you lengthen up the spine, and as you exhale, we're going to drop the right elbow down towards the right thigh so it turns the head to the left. And then inhale, back to the center. Exhale as you drop the left elbow towards the leg, and that turns the head to the right. Try and just have the neck turning, not the entire body. Shoulders remain straight. Inhale, back to the center. The hands are not at the back of the neck. They're at the back of the crown, so quite high in the head. So when you pull or grab a little bit of weight into those hands, into those elbows, they pull the back of the neck. And then simply an elbow drops, not the whole shoulder, not the whole waist, Just the elbow dropping and turning the neck. So really focus the movement into the neck, and then inhale back to the center and exhale. So elbows are always remaining pretty much in line with those shoulders. We're not wide out here like this, like that's how we get this whole body moving thing. But if they remain in line with the shoulders and just drop one elbow down, and then inhale up, you're slowly getting there, drop the other elbow down. Yes. And then coming back to the center, just let the weight of the hands press a little onto the head and keep lengthening out through the crown so you're not over efforting or over pulling on that neck. Chin is tucked and we're stretching the back of the neck, right? And then inhale, press the back of the head into the hands and open those elbows once more. Let the back of the hands support the head as it looks up and the elbows wide, suck that lower belly in. And then as you exhale, just release the head back in line and hands can come back down alongside the body. And just take a couple of breaths with your closed eyes as you just feel into what's going on there for you. You might like to take a deep inhale, lengthen up from the tail all the way through the spine to the crown, and an exhale as you simply drop the left ear to the shoulder. And inhale back up to the center, and exhale over to the other side, dropping the right ear to the shoulder. Try not to drop the shoulder itself. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Yeah, inhale, center, and exhale, just relaxing. Pretty hard, actually. I find neck exercises, my neck's always feeling really, So what we're going to do now is, as I get my camera work correct, so we're going to come off our blocks and come to sit on our blanket that we've just prepared, hopefully behind us, in a simple cross leg. But if you need to, you can shake out your feet and legs before you come into the cross leg. The ankles have just been squashed quite a bit. So you can shake them out and then cross. Why don't we have the right shin crossed over in front of the left, taking the support of the blanket underneath you to help you find that nice long length and lightness and liftedness through the spine. So taking a breath or two there. And then let's just take the arms out to the side, unwind your wrists a couple of times. Reaching the spine up towards the sky as you burrow down through the tail and the sit bones. Find the support in your lower belly, and as you draw that lower belly in and up and almost like sucking up through the straw of your perineum. Not that the perineum is a straw, don't get me wrong, it's not a straw, but it's this like sucking up through a straw that gives us this like inner lift, this internal lift. Let's turn the left palm out, use an inhalation to take the arm up in line with the shoulder, and the exhale as we dip over to the right hand side. And you can use an inhale just to lift out of there a little bit, and then exhale to dip in, and then inhale a little out, and then exhale to dip in. And then just find your way there, just holding there for a bit, trying not to hang out in that right shoulder, but to really soften that elbow and begin to draw the shoulder away from the ear. The elbow might bend a little in order for you to really allow that shoulder blade to slide down the back. Reaching across with that left arm and beginning to squeeze your right underarm towards your right hip, really opening up the left side of your body. Take one more breath as you pin the left hip into the ground and breathe it all the way into your left fingers. Use an exhalation to bend the left elbow and grab hold of your head so your fingers can touch your right ear. And then we're going to inhale and lift up. Keep stretching that right arm away. It might lift off the floor as you pull the head towards the left shoulder. So the head is dropped to the left-hand side. We're reaching with that right hand away from us. And there's going to be this perfect place. It may be actually still your best stretch with the fingers coming to the floor, or your best stretch might be hovering a little bit off, or somewhere even a little higher. But you could just wave that hand a little up and down and just see where the best stretch for your neck is. Take one more breath there and then turn the back of the hand or the palm of the hand away from you so it's facing the back wall. And then take one more breath there, pulling the head to the left, hand to the right. And as you exhale, bend that right elbow, release the head so it comes back in alignment. Left hand just sits alongside the body, and we see if we can grab hold of that left hand with our right fingers. As we take an inhalation, lengthening up through the spine, exhale to turn to look over your left shoulder and keep drawing that right shoulder back and away, drawing it down, taking the elbow towards the ground and taking your chin towards the left shoulder. You might even like a little play where you just keeping your chin turned to the left, just begin to lift it up skyward a little bit and then back down. And you might find that you begin to feel into the muscles that are attaching the neck to the jaw. And if you do, I'd like you to just begin to stretch the jaw a little bit, opening the mouth wide and closing it. You might like to just change the direction or the tilt of the chin in order to get in there a bit better. And then take one more breath. Let the exhalation release you out of there slowly and carefully. Right hand along the right side once again. Take an inhale as you find the pathway up the spine from the tail to the ground. Use the exhalation to turn your chin to the right-hand side, just looking over the right, seeing if you can peer behind you, and then all the way to the other side, to the left. Seeing if you can peer behind you, and then coming back to the center. Take your hands so they come onto your fingertips just behind you, and we're going to lift, trying to keep the hips even over the sit bones, so those front hip bones are sitting evenly over the sit bones, so we're not pulling them back out of alignment and dropping or rounding, but sort of pushing forward, coming into like a back bend, lifting up into the chest. Suck your belly in towards your spine. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, collapse completely. Tuck the chin in, round through the shoulders, round through the back, and then inhale. Lift up from the lower pelvis, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, lift your chin, open your throat to the sky. And as you exhale, shrug your shoulders, collapse through the chest and drop your chin into your chest. And then last one, inhale, riding up from the perineum into the belly, solar plexus, heart, throat opens. On your fingertips, belly drawing in towards the spine, and then collapse, shrug the shoulders, collapse the chest, tuck the chin in. And then coming back to the center, changing the cross of your legs, so the left leg now comes in front of the right. Jessie, you're making a mess of my massage bed. It's like on the massage bed. pulling it apart so he can get under the sheet. He likes to be under. Anywho, we're going to turn that right palm so it faces away. Inhale the arm directly up in line with the shoulder. And as we exhale, we bend through that left waist and stretch the right hand over to the left-hand side. And then the inhalation, as we lift out of there, straighten ourselves up somewhat. And then exhale, squeeze that left waist, open the right. Inhale out of there. Just a little break, and then exhale. Let's come all the way in. Begin to draw the the left underarm towards the hip. Pin the right hip down. From that pinning of the right hip down, we then open the right side of the body all the way from that pinned hip, sit bone, into the fingers. Try and draw that left shoulder so we don't want to lift it up, excuse me, hanging into that ear, but rather drawing it away back, sliding that shoulder blade down the back, maybe bending the elbow a little to really help with that, and stretching across. Take one more breath there from your sit bone to your fingers, and then as you exhale, hand comes to hold the head. It's interesting that my throat is constantly needing clearing during this particular class. So there is seriously some purification that needs to happen here, obviously. So we're lifting up that elbow, dropping our head into the hand, and then breathing. Taking another inhale to lift out of their head, hand pulling the head. That left hand lifts, and as we exhale, we drop the head in towards the right shoulder. That hand is just gently supporting that dropping, and the left hand is stretching out. And you might just want to have a little play with where your ultimate stretch is. You can also just slightly change the tilt of the head. So we're not touching the top of the head. If we can, come all the way to the other side of the head. So the fingers are touching the left ears, right fingers are touching the left ears. And that way we've got a little bit of weight coming into the head, and that in itself is opening the neck muscles. Breathe into the neck muscles. Take an inhale as you maybe lift that left arm a little bit. Use the exhalation to turn the palm away from you so the thumb is facing the floor. And then inhale as we straighten our torso. Take that hand behind you. Release that left arm beside the body, and see if your left fingers can grab hold of your right arm. Take an inhale here, lengthening from your tail, drilling into the earth, rising up through the spine, and crown lengthening. And then as we exhale, just turning the chin to look over that right shoulder, and perhaps sneaking a little look behind us. You can begin then to have a little play, perhaps lifting the chin a little bit in that, with the ear still dropped, and trying to find this stretch that goes into the muscles that are attached to our jaw. And see if playing with your jaw is helpful. Stretching out the mouth. Sometimes we just want to change the tilt of the head a little bit. And then one last stretch. And then inhale, head up. Exhale, arm releases. Just come back into neutral. Take an inhale through the nose, perhaps an exhale through the mouth. Making sound, don't be afraid. And again, inhaling through the nose, exhale mouth. Just a little rotation little playful way for yourself, just to allow a flow through the neck, perhaps about 3 times in each direction. So just listening according to your own needs. And then as you're ready, we bring our hands back behind us, back onto our fingertips. And we're going to lift up. So begin to draw up. So we want to push those front hip bones a little bit forward. So as we begin to lift and open the chest, the hips remain in line with the sit bones. And as we lift up, we're going to draw the belly in. So we're sucking in from the perineum pelvic floor, sucking it up into the belly, into solar plexus, into the heart, and then opening up the throat. You might even be able to hold for a couple of breaths. Sometimes I like to squeeze my toes, like grip my toes into my foot a little here to really get that lift and strength that's required here. And then when you're ready, shrug the shoulders, collapse the chest, tuck the chin in, and then just come back to seat. And just to close your eyes. You might need another inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And then we're going to come off our blankie and we're just going to put that aside for now. And turn so we can come onto our back. Feet are going to remain on the floor and we lay down on our back with the feet just sitting at hip distance behind our hips. If you like, you can have just a little moment of play. You could even like lift the feet and rotate those ankles. Sitting cross-legged for long periods can, you know, make the ankles a little bit uncomfortable. Equally, you could roll the sacral plate around on the floor in a little circular manner to massage the hips, the sacrum, and the lower back. Taking it in both directions if you're doing that. If you prefer, you could lift the feet off the floor and make little circles with the knees if that feels more in line with what you need. So do whatever you feel you need to do and then come back into our original easy rest pose. I'm going to walk those shoulder blades a little bit in towards each other. Hands, arms are alongside the body. Hands sit beside the hips with the palms facing down. Feet are at hip distance and we really want the toes in line with the heels. We're going to start by pressing the feet into the floor. Inhale to lift the hips and begin to peel the spine as you lift the arms up and over the heads. Keep pressing those feet into the floor. And then vertebra by vertebra, we roll back down with the arms coming back over and down. Press the feet into the floor, lift the hips, peel the spine. Inhaling, lifting the arms up and over. And as we exhale, vertebra by vertebra, drawing the spine back down to the earth sacrum, the last thing to tap down with the hands. One more time, one more round. Inhale, feet press in, hips lift. Spine peels off, arms up and over, and just for a moment, keep the hands where they are. Keep pressing the feet into the floor. Keep pressing the feet into the floor and see if you can lift just a little bit more through the hips. If you have a necklace on, it's really not a good idea for any of the shoulder work that we're about to come into. And then slowly exhale, vertebra by vertebra, arms coming up and down with it. And then you can just take a breath, or if you do have some jewelry on, this might be a good time to take it off. I'm going to take my necklace off. You don't want anything in the way of your neck. So this time we're going to leave the hands where they are. Feet are going to press into the floor. We're going to inhale, press the feet into the floor, lift the hips and peel the spine off the floor. Get as high up onto your shoulders as possible, and then begin to walk those shoulder blades in towards each other. Press the feet a little bit more into the floor. See if you can lift your hips in line with your knees, and then interlace the hands underneath your buttocks, underneath your back, and then walk your shoulder blades in towards each other a little bit more. See if you can press the whole length of your arms and hands into the floor, even though the hands are interlaced, so the outer edges of your hands and the legs are working really firmly. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, see if you can really allow the belly to suck back into the spine. Very hard for me to show and talk at the same time. When you take your next inhale, you're going to breathe more into the ribs and the chest, and really let that next exhale suck that belly in, suction, cap it in to back towards the spine. Chest comes up towards the chin. You might like some really light breathing so you can really let that lower belly suck in. And then release yourself somewhat out of there, and then release the interlace, and vertebra by vertebra, roll back down to the floor. Let the hips land and just adjust the body as you need to, and then just sit there and let the body soak in the effects of the posture. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. And again. Just let the hands come a little bit wider and drop the knees, both knees down to the left-hand side, and look over to your right. And just take a breath or two there. Nice full deep red neck breaths. If you're a little bit breathless, of course, you can just be breathing naturally. And then we use an inhalation to find our way back to the middle, to the center. The exhalation drops knees down to the right, head to the left. Deep rhythmic breaths, or a natural breath if you're feeling a little fatigued in any way through the breath or in any other way. And then we're lifting the knees back up to the center. Take a breath. You might be able to audibly hear yourself exhale through Ujjayi. Maybe you can find the most subtle expression of Ujjayi as you lie. Now, I forgot to tell you all the other things that we needed for class, for the end of class, didn't I? But we're going to use a bolster. Hopefully you have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can fold 1 or 2 blankets to try and create some height. We're going to have the bolster long ways, and preferably one of our blocks at the end. You might just want to watch and see what I'm doing. It may need a little bit of adjusting as you come into the pose to see what the right alignment is for you. If you had a strap handy, this is absolutely not 100% necessary, but if you did have a strap handy, you could use that to place around the feet. I didn't really intend to do that, but it is a super handy thing in this posture to have that. We're going to lay down along the bolster. I'm going to have to just change, otherwise I'm going to go off camera. And we want to be able to lie down so our shoulders come to the floor, but our, shoulder blades are still sitting on the bolster and our feet then sit on the block. And if you have a strap, you can strap them about hip distance or even a little tighter, so then the feet don't need too much thought or care. But we do want the feet, once you're in place, and please take your time with this, to make sure, no, that's okay, to make sure that you're comfortable, so that really just come out a little bit, so that your shoulder blades, really just the edge of your shoulder blades are right at the edge of that bolster. The hands can be over the head in a gentle cactus style or out alongside. And as you're here, I want you to have your feet pressing up against your imaginary wall. You could, if you've got a strap on your feet, just slightly pull the feet in towards the strap to engage the legs. And try and have this sense of the front thighs lifting. And the back of the thighs pressing into the bolster and down towards the heels. I don't want you to over effort this, but there is this gentle activation in the legs to keep the lower back really nice and comfortable and supported. The chin tucks into the chest. We don't over effort that either, but this is the direction. So we have this sense of really we're beginning to work with the bandhas here. The Jaradhara bandha here in the throat is often supported by the lower bandhas in the belly. So once again, as you begin to get comfortable here, allow that lower belly to scoop back into itself. You'll feel this suction cup experience, making your belly feel really nice and smooth and trim. And then just close your eyes. You can add the element of Ujjayi breath here, but don't make it over efforting here. You don't need to overextend the breaths. And make your Ujjayi like a little gentle whisper into your own ear. So trying to soften the features of your face. Any tension in the jaw or the tongue. And then softening into the inner throat. And if that means letting go of the Ujjayi breath, then just do that. As we really drop into this pose, we can begin to come into the inner silence. And interestingly, it is silence that is really a great healer for this chakra. When we're really wanting to know our own truth in order to live in alignment to it, it's really an essential practice to regularly quieten down the inner chatter of the mind in order to hear the whispers of that inner truth. That often is the language of feeling, connectivity, just an understanding more on a cellular level. Or shall we say here, on a vibrational level. So just in case this isn't working for some of you because it can be a bit tricky in the lower back, if your feet are in bind, just release one of the feet out of the strap and roll onto a side to come out of there. And just take a moment, deep breath. Let the body relax. And then when you're ready, we're going to carefully and gently come up and out. From there, we're going to change our bolster. Now, again, I haven't set you up particularly well because you're at home, you all have your own different ways and depending on the actual room in which you're in as well. I've done this particular shoulder stand before in previous videos in my lounge room where I use my lounge. So if you're in a lounge room, you can use the seat of your lounge for your buttocks and the back of your lounge for your feet to become inclined in. I'm going to use a folded chair to demonstrate this. You could also use a folded chair if you had one, but it isn't as comfortable as a lounge. It is very supportive, but if this doesn't work for you, you can one, come into shoulder stand if that's part of your practice, or two, come into the Viparita Karani, which is just simply being on here. It's not the most ideal thing for what we're really trying to activate here, but it would also do. But of course, you could also come into Viparita Karani here like this, a half shoulder stand or full shoulder stand with any support that you need, if that is your practice. Otherwise, you can have a go with me. If you have a suitable chair or a lounge chair or lounge, you know, the whole of your lounge, a big lounge, you can do this. We're going to have the bolster though. Underneath the chair or the lounge, I'm going to put a blanket here because this chair is a bit uncomfortable. And we come to sit on our lounge or other chair or whatever it is, and we're going to swing our feet up. So for me, I'm going to have to hook it around here, and I'm going to slowly and carefully walk down this chair and allow my shoulders to come all the way. You might want to repeat this on video, some of you. Oh, I'm off camera a little bit here. Never mind, you get the picture. So here on a chair, it's a little tougher on the lower back because I've got to hook my sacrum onto that chair, particularly if I want to straighten my legs, because this feels really slippery. Like the blanket is just going to slip off it. I'd probably be better with a sticky mat there, but I can then extend my legs up. If you're on a couch, then your buttocks is on the couch, your legs are up against the back of your couch, or
armchair, and it's actually really comfortable with the shoulders, you know, the bolster under your shoulders. So we'll just take a few minutes there, or your expression, your variation of this particular pose in support. So take your time to make everything just right for you, so you feel nice and supported, but also nice and aligned. Remember, this chakra is about integrity and alignment, so we can start playing with that idea through the physical practice. If you practice something enough physically, you'll be surprised how it can affect the subtle body. If you are in and you're super comfortable, you could at some point lift the feet, the legs, so the feet come in line with the hips. It's not essential, but you could do that, so we're really feeling like we're coming into a pretty full expression of shoulder stand. Keep fairly active in those legs, lengthening them up in order to support the upper body. Bring your awareness into the pits of your throat. Try and have a sense that there's space there, that it's spacious, that it's being nourished by this posture and by your attention, your awareness into the area. And then we're just going to carefully come out of it. So I'm not quite sure how it is for all of you, but we're going to try and just simply slide out. So I'm going to place my feet onto the seat of my chair and then just slide my buttocks carefully down, so my hips land on the bolster and my feet can remain supported with the seat of the chair, the seat of the couch. Just make any small adjustments you need to be comfortable as we take a number of breaths here. You might like to make that gentle Ujjayi breath. Make sure you're supremely comfortable, as I'm going to suggest that we complete Shavasana here. However, if that does not sound appealing to you, then please come out and lay yourself on the floor, perhaps using your bolster under your knees for some support. As you make yourself comfortable in whatever position you're choosing for Shavasana, I'd like you to really let go of any active breathing practice. Come into natural breathing. But place your awareness with the breath at the throat center. And you can feel as though each inhalation and exhalation coming in and out from the throat center itself. Each time you inhale, you might like to now begin to imagine that the inhalation brings in this beautiful turquoise blue, this sort of sky blue, in with the inhalation into the throat, creating a beautiful luminescent ball of blue energy. Letting it spin around, perhaps gathering gently in size and a sense of spaciousness in your throats, maybe in your throat, maybe beyond your throat. Inhaling and feeling this beautiful spinning ball of blue energy, clear like a beautiful summer's sky. There's a sense of clarity that can begin to come into our being. The clarity of cloudless blue sky. All impurities cleared away. Even if that's not our truth just now, can just begin to imagine the purification process that we have already gone through, we continue to go through as we continue to clear ourselves of anything that holds us back from living our truth and living with deep integrity and alignment. So each inhalation, a gathering, a sweeping, a clearing, and the exhalation is to release it. Anything holding us back, any ignorance, any lack of understanding, any cloudiness, any untruths, misinterpretations. And rather than thinking, what is my truth? What is true for me? Just as the question is posed, just feel into your truth. Feel what your truth feels like in your body. And as you feel that, feel what that might feel like to be living it, to be speaking it, to be communicating it. And then we come to clear out the last bits of this chakra through sounds. While we're lying here in Shavasana, as we begin to draw ourselves out a little, we're going to chant the bija sound to this chakra, which is hum. And you can just join me when you're ready. Hum, 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 hum. 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 Letting the vibrational quality of the humming wash out and realign. Take a breath into the body once again. You can exhale through the mouth or any which way that pleases you, perhaps audibly, perhaps not. And then just invite movement back in, or to slide your way out of where you are. Or just finding your own way. It's coming back. And slowly and eventually coming back to six.
As we come back into a seated position, you might like to bring your hands into prayer with the tips of the index fingers simply touching the lips. And the thumbs, the tops of the thumbs, just coming to touch the mid-throat. So we can be connected about speaking our truth. And as we think about speaking our truth, reconnecting to Anahata, our heart chakra, so we can speak with compassion and kindness as we speak our truth. Namaste. Thank you all so much. If you would like to work with this chakra during the week, then I encourage you to sing, to sing, to chant, to read out aloud, to have conversations with people that you've been meaning to have. If there's something that you need to get off your chest, or if there's a question that you have for somebody, then speak it perhaps this week and practice this balancing your truth, your questioning with care, with concern for others, as well as seeking your truth, seeking what is true for you. And sometimes that does require speaking to somebody else about their truth. Like, what's true? Like, was that true? What's going on? You know, so it can be meaning sometimes to have some important conversations. Also, to find your own truth. Sometimes we can be a little bit confused about purpose, about where we're at in life, particularly in these difficult changing times when we're actually really changing a little bit who we are and how we're living right now. Then journaling is another really great way of getting that truth out. Hey, I've just thought about something as well. Maybe you would like to do a video journal, being something that is speaking. Yes, writing is definitely part of this chakra. But if you want to voice what it is. So you can ramble without spelling, without thinking I can't keep up with my thoughts. You could actually video or voice record yourself on your phone and play it back and see what it is that you've come out. It's quite nice to commence meditation and then do something like that. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week and all the best with your Visudha.